Last time,
the group manages to escape from the boulder trap in Castle Xilo. They fight off a Jed imposter and a group of kobolds. And finally, the three musketeers lower themselves down into the ancient dragon's lair. They find themselves standing on mounds of gold and treasure, when a deep, loud voice is heard from behind them.
I was going to tell a pizza joke, but it was too cheesy.
Dungeons and Dragons and Daughters!
Welcome to Dungeons and Dragons and Daughters. We are a Dungeons and Dragons 5th edition podcast.
that's right. Good job.
And I am the star of the show.
No, you're not.
We are a D&D 5th edition live play podcast. And
Dungeons and Dragons and Daughters.
Dungeons and Dragons and Daughters, yes. Yes. And we are also now a proud member of the Black Party Podcast Network.
Wow!
That was a new announcement that just came out this month, and so yeah, we're just gonna keep bringing that up and saying it and reminding everybody about it. So couple.
But I just want to show them my picture.
Yep, we got some great podcast art in the background that Sam had drew. I had posted this on Twitter already.
Very cool.
And we already got some fantastic comments on that.
So I just want to say that
This is the Black Dragon.
well, this is the Black Dragon, but this is a human with a shield. This is a dragonborn with a sword, and this is a cleric using lightning bolt.
Cool.
And the dragon's hiding so much gold. And if you're wondering, I drew this on a whiteboard.
Prints are going to be going for about $50 a piece, so make sure you order yours today.
And it's on a whiteboard, so if you mess it up, I'm not giving you anyone. No.
So real quick, I am Kurt, the Dungeon Master, and Daddy for 2/3 of the players at the table.
I am Sam, who plays Mimi, and
The elf druid.
the elf druid, and I don't know what happened to my voice.
And to your left is
I'm Birdie. I play Galaxy, the elf wizard.
oh my god,
What?
you did it. You did your introduction without doing anything silly. I'm so proud of you.
I think that's the first.
It is the first time. Oh my god. And Bertie, to your left we have
I am Matt, playing Dave, the lovable half-elf cleric.
Not really lovable.
half elf.
I'm sorry, not half-elf. Halfling.
Bloop.
Halfling.
All right.
Here is the best die of them all.
Yeah, we got a big 20-sided episode.
For dramatic. For dramatic.
Do you want to practice rolling that? I just want to see if the thunking gets picked up by the. Jesus. Yep, that gets picked up all right.
You know if we roll it or not. You know, if we don't even have to say if it's a big roll. When you hear that big roll, it's big.
We don't even have to tell you.
All right. Real quick, that is loud, yeah. All right, couple of housekeeping items. Well, actually, just really one. Just wanted to read some new reviews that we got. New 5-star reviews.
Ew.
This first
Thank
one,
you.
first one's from K2235. K2235 says, clean, quality, brilliant. Just being a clean D&D podcast makes this a rare gem, but it's also very well done. The audio is crystal clear and the DMing is top-notch, if, of course, a little kiddish at times, kind of the point. Altogether, it's exceptional. Recommended. Then we also got another 5-star review from Richard KL. Heaps of fun, good for older kids. This show is first and foremost an absolute blast to listen to. The story moves along as steadily as any game of D&D I've ever played. Only in this case, the digressions are adorable and beyond creative. The DM does a great job of balancing the creativity and energy at the table with keeping a focused story that continues from episode to episode. It's a pretty family-friendly show, as far as actual play podcasts go, but there are descriptions of violence that might be intense for younger kids, and there is playful reference to alcohol use. The occasional bad word from one of the two adults at the table, I recall maybe 2 instances in the first 20 episodes, is bleeped out, and there was one instance of one of the girls saying a word, not the a word, but literally a word, as she censored herself. The audio quality is surprisingly good. The story is fun, and the kids are a delight. This show is firmly in my must-listen list and will very likely be on yours if you give it a shot. So Richard KL and K2235, thank you very much.
I just want to say to the second person's name, I forget.
Richard KL.
Yeah. Are you saying that kids under my age can't watch our show?
No, he left, I think, or she. I'm guessing that's he because it's Richard. But I thought this was a very helpful review for maybe other parents that were wanting to get their kids to listen to our show. He's just trying to make sure that they know the kinds of some of the topics that we do, and there might be some parents that might not be comfortable with some of the stuff that we talk about.
I'm looking at you for swearing.
I didn't actually.
She didn't actually swear.
But you kind of... No, you actually did say it.
It is implied swearing.
No, you did say it, but then you cut that out. But then she said a word. So then...
Right. So lots of A words flying around in this episode today. All right. So... should we play Dungeons and Dragons?
Let's do it.
Adios, amigos.
So, we got down to the bottom of where we think is the dragon's lair because it's filled with treasure. And we ended last time with the dragon. You assume is the dragon because there's a loud, deep, booming voice coming from behind you that says, "Well, well, well."
What do we have?
If it isn't the Three Musketeers.
And that's when you hear movement.
It's maybe Dave and Galaxy, not
I don't think you want to be giving sass to the dragon.
You're known as the Three Musketeers. That's like your group name. And there's legends about you. Don't you remember? Well, this was a long time ago, but Jed had brought up a long time ago, and he said how the three of you were destined to save the world.
How are we destined?
It's all part of the legend of the Three Musketeers.
That's cool.
We're amazing.
So you hear movement from behind you, and you hear coins and jewels shifting around on the ground. But you don't see anything when you turn towards the movement.
I have a question. Is it dark?
It is dark, yes.
So
Dave would be having a hard time seeing.
I cast dancing lights.
Okay. You cast dancing lights. You hold up your hands, and the 4 spots of light shoot out from your hands and surround the 4 of you, lighting up the immediate area.
And we just see the head of the dragon.
Nope, you don't see the head of the dragon, but you do see the coins moving around, and you can hear it moving, but you don't see it. You hear his voice again.
I did not believe Christopherson when he said that you would come to me, and of your own free will. Do you even know why you are here, or what you now face?
A dragon, yes. You despicable creature.
More movement and more coins and rubble getting shifted around. It sounds like the dragon is circling you, but you still can't see it.
How dare you?
And you can hear loud breathing
And you could
from
also
the dragon
hear me
as well.
going, I yell out, where are you?
And the dragon says,
I am Eltor, and I fear that mine may be the last voice that you ever hear.
So you're an elf?
No, I am not an elf.
Are you a dragon?
Yes,
Wait, where are you? My question was, where are you?
I'm right here.
Where is right here?
Dave, I need you to roll a dexterity saving throw for me.
Oh, no, Dave. I mean, where is right
8.
Where's right?
8. So after you ask, where's right here? Dave, you get knocked to the ground, and a large weight is now pressing painfully down on top of you and your chest. And that's when the black dragon appears, and he says,
I'm right here.
and he's got Dave pinned to the ground now under his giant black claw.
Dave, we can't be just wandering. Come on, get up. Dave,
No, I want to go home. No time for nap time.
No time for love, Dr. Jones.
You call him Dr. Jones, doll.
I don't get it.
So, do you want to do anything?
I go. I'm like, do I really have to?
Can I try?
I mean, I always save you, Dave. I always.
So, this dragon is huge. It is sort of coiled up on itself, but it is hundreds of feet long with its tail.
I think I know what to do.
And Dave is like the size of one of his
Pause.
claws under his gigantic paw.
So he's just putting his claw right on him.
He's got Dave pinned to the ground. And it is a black dragon, but this close you can see the individual scales that are on this black dragon, and each black scale is the size
Of my mouth.
is the size of a shield. Like your shield, your magical shield that you carry around with you, that is one of its scales on its body. And Dave, looking up at this maw, you can feel the hot breath of this dragon coming down at you. And the dragon has Eltor, again, as the reminder is the name of this dragon. Eltor, you can see the malevolence on its face right now.
It's a black dragon, you
It's a
said.
black dragon. The scales and flesh that's around its mouth looks like over the years has been worn away. And you can actually see more of its teeth and actually parts of the bones of its face. Like the constant exposure to the acid that comes out of this dragon has gradually worn away the flesh and material around its teeth and jaw.
I know what Birdie should do. Should you mage hand and tickle the dragon, and so that his
That's not what I was gonna do.
so that his food comes off of Dave?
No, that's not what I'm gonna do.
And
I'm gonna have
hold on.
mage hand.
I know it's gonna have something to do with mage hand. So, Dave, also, you see some acid just starting to drip down from the dragon's mouth.
Oh. But I'm not done.
Roll another dexterity saving throw for me.
Oh my gosh.
Dramatic. It's dramatic.
It's not that dramatic. We don't need the big dice for that.
14.
14. Okay.
He does not. You need a natural 20.
So the dragon's not even paying attention to you right now. So the dragon, Eltor, is just looking at Mimi and Galaxy. And this little bit of spit drops out of the side of its mouth, and it's heading right towards your forehead. And you manage to just shift your head out of the way just enough for it to hit the ground next to your head, and you hear the ground sizzle as the acid burns through the stone
That
underneath
could
of
have
you.
went through your head and killed your brain. You'd
And
be dumb
killed my
forever.
brain.
And killed
You could have been dumb forever.
Dumb forever. I wouldn't be like dumb smart anymore. I would just be dumb.
You'd be dumb.
Yeah, dumb.
A dumb.
You'd be a dumb sucker.
Okay, I will finish with my
No,
mage.
the sucker
Okay.
is a dum dum.
Bird was going to try and do something.
With
Bird,
my mage hand. Then I'm tickling him.
And then his foot will move, and then Dave will be perfect.
okay, so you're gonna try and tickle.
And this is
The
a
dragon?
big thing. So when you hear the clump, we'll tell you.
With mage hand, he's gonna tickle, and he
What-
gotta. Wait, what?
So what are you rolling? You're like rolling sleight of hand
No, he's
with
gonna
mage hand.
Gonna use mage hand so he can tickle the dragon so his foot goes off of Dave.
Oh my gosh, you got 19.
You got a 19. Okay. So your mage hand appears, and you quickly send it over to the dragon, and you start tickling it, like what you think is like kind of in the armpits of where his hand is at. And he looks at you and raises a scaled eyebrow. And while he's looking at you, he picks up one of the claws on his hand and drives it into Dave's shoulder.
Ow! I wish I tickled him more.
And Dave, you take 17 points of piercing damage from this.
Let's kill him!
Holy moly.
Okay, Dave, you should try to push his hand up with all your might.
So Dave is now quite literally pinned to the ground by the dragon claw.
Okay, so I am going to try hurting him now. Like I won before.
So are we ready to do initiative?
Initiative! Dun, dun.
All right, let's do initiative.
I got 5.
Galaxy got a 5. Okay.
Oh, I have to roll initiative. 18.
18 for Mimi.
18 for Dave as well.
18 for Dave. Ooh, good rolls all around.
But does the black dragon go first, or do I?
The Black Dragon Eltor got a 19 on his initiative.
What about Jed?
Jed is not there with you, remember? While we were climbing down, the dragon fear kept him from safely making the climb down, and so he went back.
Jed! We need you! It's your bro! Your uncle!
His uncle. Now that's kind of racist.
That
to
is good,
assume
yeah.
that they're related.
Yeah, just because they're dragonish doesn't mean that they all know each other.
Or that they're related, yeah.
Still, it's your uncle! Are you sure?
I think Jed would be really offended by that if he was here. I know I would be. So that's when, all right, so the dragon gets to go first. Eltor gets to go first. And everything around you goes completely black.
Dang it, I knew I should have got to spell magic.
Even your elf vision, your night vision, which normally lets you see in the dark, doesn't work. Everything is completely black.
I've never seen darkness before.
You've never seen dark this dark.
I haven't seen darkness.
The blackest
I-
black
what
times
about-
infinity.
What about my dancing lights?
No, you can't even see your dancing lights anymore. So, and Dave, that's when painfully the claw gets ripped out of your shoulder and you get berated with wind gusts, and you hear the dragon flap its wings, and you hear the coins shifting and the stone moving as he lifts up off of the ground.
Is he trying to leave?
He's just getting into the air.
And then that's when the darkness goes away and you can see again. And so now
Finally!
it is Mimi's turn.
Did he fly like directly up, or did he kind of go in a different angle?
You can't tell because it happened while you were surrounded in pitch blackness, and now the dragon is gone.
I can't see him.
Nope, he's not there anymore.
Pooh, because I was thinking I could make a wall, and then, yeah. And then it
So,
smacked
but there
the wall.
is movement that you do see. Something or some things are climbing their way out of the treasure and the ground beneath your feet.
I'm going to use Flaming Spear,
Flaming sphere, okay.
and I'm going to hit a wall so light shines in on the dragon.
Well, the
Okay.
darkness went away.
I know, but you still can't see the dragon, so I'm going to do Fireball really
Oh, we
high
can't-
up.
We can't see the dragon now?
No, the dragon is gone.
I'm gonna- Fireball?
Okay, so you're gonna shoot out flaming sphere to
Oh, yeah.
try and light up the area more and see if that helps locate
Well,
where the dragon is.
I'm going to throw it up a wall really high up, and since the dragon is probably really high up, the light's going to probably shine on it.
Okay. I'm gonna make you roll a ranged attack with this, and you're gonna have disadvantage because you don't know where the dragon is at, and so you're just you're doing this blindly. So roll a d20.
I'm doing it at the wall, not at him.
Well, I know, but it's like I'm doing this as a chance that you could actually hit the dragon if it's still in the area and invisible in some way.
So where again?
So roll a d20, roll it twice, and you pick the lower of the two. So you got an 8? Okay. All right, so you cast out your hands, and a 5-foot diameter flaming sphere appears in the air. And the heat radiates off of it, and you send your hands out and send it shooting through the air towards the wall. And did you actually want it to slam into the wall or just be by the wall?
Slam in the wall.
Okay, so it slams into the wall. Rock and dirt and dust breaks off of it and falls to the ground, and it sits there
Do you
now.
see it? Is there light shining?
So the area is now brighter, but it doesn't show the dragon
But
anymore
how-
than what you already saw.
But I thought if I did it really high up, the light would go over by the dragon.
Well, again, you don't know where the dragon is. So the entire area,
Help me find the dragon.
the entire area is lit up more, but you still don't see the dragon.
That was a waste of my turn.
And I want to remind you, there are things that are moving and coming out of the ground all around you right now as well. So, but that's as a reminder because Dave is next.
You never said that.
Yes, I did.
No, did he?
Yeah.
Speak
He
louder.
said it, sorry.
Speak louder.
Can we see what's crawling out of the ground?
You start to see hands and the tops of heads coming out.
Zombie.
And they look like some desiccated flesh on these creatures. It's not your turn yet. Roughly, you count about 20 of them that are
Okay.
coming out of the ground.
But they're not all the way out of the ground yet.
Correct.
So I want to use my turn undead ability, but I'm going to wait
Okay.
until next turn. So right now, I'm just going to... One of the exposed tops of the head, I just want to bring my mace down on it.
Okay. So I'll give you advantage on that.
Yeah, thank you. A 7 and a 4. But 7, that's still a 15.
Okay. Definitely a hit.
And then that's 6 damage.
You smashed its head in, and it stops moving.
Sweet.
Galaxy, it is now your turn.
I'm gonna fly.
You're going to fly?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm gonna try to find the dragon.
All right.
We're gonna
All
find
right, so
me.
so you got your magic wand in your hand. You've got your shield in the other hand, and you wave it around and cast a fly spell on yourself. So this shimmering energy covers you from head to toe in the blink of an eye.
No, the sun comes out and beams out my head and goes, and you just hear, hallelujah,
Okay.
hallelujah.
All right. Yep. And then that light goes away, and suddenly, yeah, you can
Start
take
flying.
off. You can fly.
Wait, I can finally do flips in the air. Okay, let me go find it.
All right. So you fly straight up.
Yeah.
Okay. So you're gonna be looking for the dragon.
Damn it. Should I do insight?
And do an investigation. You got to do it with disadvantage, though.
10. 14. So it'd say 14.
No, it'd be
No,
10.
it'd be
You get
10. You choose the lower of the two.
disadvantage.
Disadvantage. All right. So you go shooting up into the air, and you're looking around and flying all over the place. Don't see the dragon. Don't run into it. But you do see down below that the zombies. They are zombies that are coming out of the ground. There's about 20 of them that are coming out of the ground. So,
And I think in my head, yes, I can do more of my punching skill.
all right. So now they're going to get rolled into the initiative now. And
He's getting
Mimi.
natural one.
you're next. What are you going to do?
Well, no, then I'm gonna use my scimitar, and I'm going to slay.
You're going to slay a zombie with your scimitar.
But I still have flaming spears, so I still can move that around.
Correct. Yep. You could attack with your scimitar, and you could slam the flaming sphere into the zombies as
That's
well.
what I'm planning on.
Okay.
Very good plan.
All right. So I'm going to say that you can hit 3 of the zombies with flaming sphere when you move it down. So
I hit 3 of them.
you hit 3 of them. So roll 2d6 for me.
2d6. Okay. 6 in total.
Okay. So then you go to slice at one of them with your scimitar, and because they're still pulling themselves out of the ground, I'm going to give you advantage on it.
Okay. 9.
Does that add in your modifier?
Oh no.
You got a 12. That'll hit. Roll the damage.
4 in total.
4. Okay.
4 damage. Did I kill a zombie?
You did not kill a zombie. There are still 19 of them left.
But with my flaming spear and that.
Yeah, you didn't quite kill him. Yeah, they got set on fire, but they're still coming out and they're.
But did I kill the first one?
No, you didn't. So Dave, it is your turn now.
All right, I am going to use my turn undead ability, which at this point, because I'm beyond level 5, is destroy undead.
Yep, they were low enough level that if they miss their saving throw, they will just be destroyed.
So it's half a. Okay, yep. So yeah, wisdom saving throw.
Okay, and they missed their saving throw.
Sweet.
So what does that look like?
So Dave he takes hold of his medallion of Mishakal in one hand, and the other hand goes in the air, and he says, "By the power of Mishakal, you cannot harm us."
Michigan.
No.
Do not insult my goddess, Galaxy. We've been friends for a long time, but that's something I won't.
That's where she lives.
You have your hand up with your holy symbol in it, and it glows bright white light, and this pulse shoots out from it, and it hits all of the zombies, and they all fall to the ground, and their parts and pieces turn to dust, and they explode into dust when they hit the gold beneath their feet.
Mishakal be praised.
And you hear a chuckle from high above you.
Very well done.
Loser, black dragon. Loser. Sorry. That's my girl.
You're resorting to insults already. Well, let's see how you handle this.
And this is when the rest of the cavern lights up on its own. There's some magic that's happening, and so you can see very, very clearly now in the area. You still don't see the dragon, but now you hear a ton of noise coming from everywhere around you.
Certainly not everywhere. Not in front of us.
Well, in front of you too.
Not under us. Not under us.
Well, okay, not under you. Not under you, but above you, to your left, to your right, in front of you, and behind you.
Then I just jump into Mimi's arms.
Maybe roll a strength check for me.
What? No.
Do it. Roll it.
No, I'm
not gonna be like last time where she made me get like.
Okay, so so she tries to jump into your arms, and you just take a step back and just let her fall on the ground.
I'm just like, nuh-uh.
Then I do it to Dave, like, come on.
I got a 10, and my strength is a 10.
Okay. All right. Yeah. So you managed to. She jumps into your arms, and your little legs start to quiver a little bit underneath the weight, but you don't drop her, and you don't fall to the ground.
So Dave catches her as like a reflex.
Yeah.
And he's like,
and then you drop her.
like gives her kind of a dirty look and just like drops her. Yeah.
So, and that's when the area gets flooded with hundreds upon hundreds of kobolds.
At least it's not.
And you could see some of them have wings, and they're floating down from the sky above you.
At least they're not goblins.
Yeah, they're not
That's right,
goblins.
you hate goblins.
Goblins are weak.
So all the kobolds that are around you now, hundreds of them. They're all armed with spears and daggers, and they have their little shields out. And
I want to go to bed right now. So good night.
here, we got to work them into the initiative too. Okay. And yeah, you're surrounded by hundreds of kobolds now. It is Galaxy. It is your turn.
Can I make a hobo hut do it?
Okay, so
Hobo hut.
not well, hobo hut. That's what you're calling it. But what is the actual name of the spell again?
It's called like Lehman's Tiny Hut, I think.
Lehman's tiny hut.
Yeah, Lehman's Tiny Hut, but you call it your hobo
Nailed
hut.
it.
I stand right by Birdie, so the spell will work. So the spell will go around.
No,
his
it
head.
only works for me.
No, it's a 10-foot radius dome that appears if you cast this spell. So if you cast this spell, it does go around all of your allies if they're within 10 feet of you.
And I move really close to you.
So well, it's not your turn.
Well, I move close.
So Galaxy, do you want to just cast this on yourself, or are you going to try and move closer to Dave and Mimi so that it casts over all of them?
I'm gonna do the greedy thing
What's the greedy thing?
to keep it to myself.
You're just going to cast on yourself. Are these people even your friends? I mean, all right. So you hold up your magic wand. Well, so you fly back down to the ground, And you cast Hobo Hut on yourself. What color is the dome?
Neon pink.
Okay, neon pink.
Unicorns flying around it.
Yeah, no, but
You never didn't say pictures. You just said color.
yep. It's just so this neon pink 10-foot dome appears over Galaxy, and Mimi and Dave, you can't see her anymore. She's just chilling inside this dome as you're surrounded by hundreds of kobolds.
I got to the door and go like, "Let me in!" But Dave died.
It's not the way it works. Once it's up, no one can get in.
No, I climbed to the top and break it.
You can't.
It's a magic spell.
It's unbreakable. Nothing can get inside. for the
I
duration of
climbed
the
up
spell.
the dragon.
Yes, even the dragon could not get inside this thing.
We could just stay in here forever.
You mean you?
I mean, you could stay in there forever. Well, it's got an 8-hour duration. So you can break the spell very easily just by leaving it. And I should also say that while you're inside of it, you can see out. It's invisible while you're in it.
Is there a kitchen and a bathroom and a toilet?
No.
You're gonna have to establish a pee corner.
I gotta pee.
It's a dome. There's no corners.
Is there a bucket?
A pee area.
No, there's no bucket. There's no pee bucket. So that's Galaxy's turn.
I put up a
All right.
cute.
So, now it is the kobold's turn. And they are all going to charge at you guys. So you just get mauled and overwhelmed and tackled by these hundreds of kobolds that are coming at you. So I'm just going to say that there's, you each get stabbed 8 times.
Except Birdie, a greedy little bird.
But then I yell, "Should I get out of here?"
Yes.
What? No. Okay.
I hate her so much.
All right, Mimi,
try to kill
you take
Dave.
29 points of piercing damage from all of these kobolds coming at you.
I told you they're not good. At least I still have 18 points of damage.
Dave, you take 29 points.
Oh,
of
you only have
piercing
1
damage.
point.
Yep.
You're gonna die.
Oh, no way.
Fine. I
Alright.
get out of my hobo hut.
It's not,
It's not your turn yet.
I will cast it on Dave because he's about to
Not
die.
your turn
your
yet.
turn.
Not your turn. All right, Mimi, it's your turn.
I have only 18 hit points left.
Oh, okay.
So what I do, I'm so mad. I'm just like cursing, and I move my flaming spear
Okay.
and charge it at them.
Okay.
Hallelujah. Hallelujah.
And then I come over and
Roll a 2d6 damage on it for me.
I get the 5.
5. Okay.
And I go send a dinosaur.
So you're gonna summon a dinosaur.
The next spell for my dinosaur.
All right.
Allosaurus.
An Allosaurus. All right.
No, it's a Stephosaurus.
So we need to roll initiative for the Allosaurus. So roll that for me.
Stephosaurus.
We'll get
It's a
him or her worked into the rotation.
6.
6. Okay. You move the flaming sphere down, and there are so many kobolds just moving this thing towards anywhere. Hits dozens of them, and the kobolds they're so tiny and they're so weak. It kills them as soon as it plows through this mass of tiny scaled creatures.
I thought they were big.
No, they're small. They're small. They're
Tinier than Dave.
a little bit bigger than Dave, but they're still considered small creatures.
Such silliness.
So just by moving that flaming sphere, you take out like 20 of the kobolds just by moving around because there's so many of them everywhere.
And then my dinosaur appears and then it steps on a bunch of them too.
And then the dinosaur appears, and
Just do it.
the kobolds just do a double take. What?
Like this is something. And they whispered, "Did you see that coming?"
All right, David, it's your turn now.
All right, I'm gonna pull out the Rod of Dragon Fear
Here we go. Rod of Dragon Fear.
because I'm like bleeding from dozens of cuts. and
Why didn't you do
stabs.
that before?
This is the first opportunity I've had. So yeah, I pull it out from behind my belt, hold it up in the air.
Okay.
Thrust it up in the air.
You thrust it up in the air, and you feel that silent thunder that booms out from this thing every time that you've used it before, and you see it. You see the effects wash over the faces of all the kobolds, because before, all of them were angry and excited and baring their teeth, and all the muscles and the scales on their tiny little faces go slack, and their eyes get really big, and all of them, this cacophony of screams of horror echoes out across the caverns as every single one of the kobolds turns and runs and flies as fast as they can to get away from you.
So what kind of action was that? Do I have to wait till my next turn to cast a healing spell?
That's considered, it'd be like use an action to cast a spell with it.
Gotcha.
One thing I do want to point out is that after you cast that, the rod now feels different to you. Like, there may not be any more magic that's left in this rod.
Gotcha.
It's like that might have been the last charge available in this item.
Okay. I wonder if it can be recharged. Some magical items can.
I probably would know.
Definitely not going to get rid of it. Yeah, we can talk about it later. You're in your hut right now.
All right, so Galaxy, it is your turn now. You're just chilling in your hobo hut.
I casted the hobo hut on Dave. What about me?
Well, that wouldn't heal him.
I know, but he'd be more protected because he's about to die.
But what about me?
You have many lives.
I've only 18
I would say
hit
not
points.
to use the spell slot.
Oh. Then I will
Die, yeah.
kick my legs up and relax.
Are you still going to stay inside your dome?
No.
So, okay, so you get rid of the dome, and now you're just going to kick back and relax?
No.
Well, that is what you said.
Well, there's nothing else to do.
We got proof. Well, there's a dragon above our heads.
Can we see the dragon right now?
Not yet.
See, so I'm just gonna kick back my legs and
Why don't you do lightning
So,
bolt?
so,
You might
so there's
have-
this thing.
You might hit the...
We haven't used it. I don't think in this game is you can ready an action. If you don't know what to do,
Or, yeah.
you can say that you're going to do something as soon as certain conditions happen. So, for example, you could say, I'm going to have my a fireball spell prepared, and I'm going to shoot it as soon as I see the dragon.
I will do that.
Okay. So, but do you understand the mechanic with that? It's like you hold your action and get something ready, but if that event never happens, you lose your action. So if you never see the dragon, you don't get to fire it off. So is that what you're going to do?
Probably for the best.
Okay.
I take the chance.
All right. So Galaxy readies a fireball for when and if she sees the dragon. Actually, before Galaxy, before Galaxy, it should have been the dinosaur's turn.
My dinosaur.
So
My dinosaur.
so the Allosaurus that's now standing there in the group
My dinosaur.
is looking at you, looking for something to do.
Dinosaur. I will hop on your back and I'll see if I can see the dragon.
So you can totally do that.
So I go on its back.
Okay.
And I tell him to circle around and I yell out, Dragon, wherever you are, I got a dinosaur now.
I thought you were
Wait,
gonna.
so are you telling the dinosaur to find the dragon?
No, I'm telling, well, could I do that?
Sure.
I tell the dinosaur, point to the direction where the dinosaur is in.
So, but you're still going to be on its back? Okay. So you start, so the dinosaur puts its snout up in the air and it goes as it starts sniffing around. And it takes off one way, and then it comes back another way, and it's looking around, looking confused, and it doesn't seem like that it can get a bearing on the dragon.
And then I tell him to go in circles. And so he goes in circles and I yell out, Dragon, wherever you are, I got a dinosaur named Dino now.
Okay.
Are you rhyming?
Wait, can I name my dragon?
Your dinosaur?
No, my dinosaur.
What are you going to name your dinosaur? He only exists for an hour.
I know, but like every time he appears.
Stefan.
Stuff.
Well, it's an Allosaurus. You can name him Al.
Julian.
Alan.
Barry.
Samantha.
I'm gonna name it.
Craig. Kyle.
Gumba.
Todd.
Oh, I like Todd.
Dum Dum.
Now, is it a boy or is it a girl?
It's a boy.
It's a boy. Okay.
His name is gonna be Larence.
Larence?
Clarence.
It could be
Lawrence?
Or
Larry.
Clarence?
Clarence?
Clarence.
Lawrence?
Clarence.
Clary.
Okay.
That's a good. That's
Claire. You can have a nickname
That's
for
good.
Claire.
That's good.
Clarence.
It's a boy. I know, but his
One of my
nickname could be Claire.
great grandfathers was named Clarence.
Clarence is not afraid of you, I yell out.
So this is when the space around all of you is suddenly filled with swarms of tiny biting flies and insects.
Mosquito!
Not a mosquito. No, these are like horse flies. It's like when they sting you, it hurts.
No, I want my hobo hut again.
Man, I should have let her put that hobo hut around me. I'm gonna go down.
And each of you take 10 points of piercing damage.
Oh.
I'm down.
He's dead.
Birdie, make sure to mark 10 points off of your character.
I have only 10 points.
That is when Eltor appears in front of you. You hear this loud thump on the ground, and coins and treasure get scattered everywhere.
Like this?
Yes, like that. It's only a million times louder. Please stop trying to mimic that. And the dragon reappears, and that's when you see its chest heaves out as it takes in a huge breath of air, and it opens its mouth to shoot its acid breath at you.
No.
Dave,
Dave's knocked out.
you're gonna die.
Well, all of you are going to be hit by this.
Can you make us stay alive forever?
All right.
Can you?
I need each of you. Well, Dave wouldn't be able to do this, so he's going to take full damage from this. But I need you two to roll a dexterity saving throw.
I saved it.
What did you get?
17.
17?
And my
Okay.
dexterity. And my dexterity is 11.
20? 17 and 20? Okay.
Not a natural, but
All right.
my dexterity is 11.
Right. So, unfortunately, neither of those rolls are good enough for saving on this.
17?
Even a 20 is not good enough. This is a very powerful, very large dragon, and its acid breath covers the area. All right, so all of you are going to take the full damage from its acid breath, and it's just the smell of it hits you first as the acid comes out of this dragon's mouth, and it sounds rank, or not sounds, it smells rank and putrid and terrible, and you can hear the sizzling of it as it comes towards you,
I yell, when did you last brush your teeth?
and it hits all of you for 67
Dang.
acid damage.
So
already
we're
had
all
0.
knocked out? You are kidding.
I am not kidding.
Everyone's
You
dead.
are kidding.
Everyone's completely dead.
Yeah, everyone.
Insta death.
Everyone's dead now. I have negative 20. I have like negative 20. No, I have like negative 40. Daddy.
That would kill you instantly.
Daddy, our character's done?
All of you get hit by the acid, and it is the most amount of pain that you've ever been in your life. Every fiber of your being feels like that it is on fire.
The werewolf thing?
Yep, even the werewolf thing. It hurts more than that. And then after a brief moment, but it's only for a moment. Just shocking, unbearable, terrible pain, and
We're all
then
dead.
nothing. And Mimi, your eyes open, and you can see again. But everything appears a little hazy and a little brighter in a way. You are still in the same place that you were, so you're still in the dragon's lair, surrounded by the rocks and the treasure, but the dragon is not there.
I play dead.
So you still just laying there on the ground.
But I peek out just a tiny bit.
Yep, you try and peek out, and so then you see the things that I had just described.
But then once I see them, I die. No, not die. I pretend I die.
So you peeking out around, but you stay motionless. Dave, your eyes open, and you're lying on the ground in the spot that you were before.
I should have stayed in my hobo hut.
Start patting my body, and
you feel fine. It's
I have all my stuff.
all your stuff is there. Yeah, no damage, no anything. In fact, if anything, you feel great.
Except
Yeah.
the dragon.
I'm gonna get up and check on the girls.
Okay.
I just
And-
have it.
That's when you see Mimi's body laying there on the ground, and then Galaxy's body suddenly winks into existence, not far away from you, and she's on the ground as well.
I see it wink into existence.
Mm-hmm.
Interesting.
And
wink?
Galaxy, that's when your eyes open up and you're on the ground. Like when I say it, so it blinks into existence, like it wasn't there, and then poof, all of a sudden you're there.
I'm alive. I'm alive. Pain.
No, you're not. You're not in pain. You're not. It doesn't hurt. You feel.
I had pain.
Wow, you feel great.
No, just like Dave, you feel great. All the pain and anguish that you just experienced is gone, and it's a distant memory.
And then I go to Mimi, just check, and just knock on her head.
So Mimi, as you're on the ground feigning death, and you have your eyes or you're peeking open, you see Galaxy's face come into your view, and she leans over and raps on your skull.
I don't know what's happening, so I slap her.
I was like, I think she's a zombie.
She goes like this.
And you slap her back. Yep. So Galaxy, you get slapped in the face. So you know Mimi is alive and well.
And better than ever.
I wish I had my hobo hut.
And as I said, the dragon is no longer there. But you don't see, there's another figure that you just noticed. It didn't just blink into existence. It seems like it was something that was always there.
Hello?
But for whatever reason, you're just noticing this figure now.
Hello? Is it me you're looking for?
And it's a figure. It looks to be a woman. And
Mommy.
she's dressed in white, and she seems to have kind of a glow about her.
I think we should call.
The figure turns around, and you are now face to face with the most beautiful woman you have ever seen.
That's my mom.
Well, I thought I was the most beautiful.
Or you just see a booger come out of her nose.
It's the most beautiful booger you've ever seen. If boogers could be beautiful, this woman's boogers would be beautiful.
No, I asked, are you my mommy?
She gives all of you a small, sad smile.
Are you my mommy?
She opens her mouth to speak to you, and Dave looks like she's speaking directly to you, and her voice is music. And she says, "Hello, Dave. Mimi, Galaxy."
And I just bow down.
It's
Bow.
it's there's no need for that.
Are you
It's,
my mommy?
No, I'm not your mommy. It's a pleasure to meet you face to face. I know that you probably have a lot of questions right now.
Who are you? Why are you here? How are you here?
Dave,
What's your name?
Dave knows who I am.
Dave
you
falls
Michi-
to his knees.
Are you Michikal?
He'd be weeping openly.
Are you Michikal?
And she nods.
Do you live in Michigan?
No, sweetie, I do not live in Michigan.
Dave told me that you did.
I did not. Not tell her that.
Michiko?
Yes, my dear.
I just want to say Galaxy calls you Michigan.
Oh, I know. I know.
I don't know if you're from Michigan.
I am not from Michigan.
Oh. Okay, now I'm going to call you Michikal.
That would be lovely.
Feeling a little more respectful now that you've met her in person?
I'm sorry for having Galaxy speak to you in that way.
It's quite all right. It's
Do you get it every day?
you've been through a lot
What
to get here.
happened to us? I thought we were dead.
How was it a year?
You did die, but this is not your time yet.
Did you save us?
She nods her head, and
Thank you.
and
You.
that's when her face gets a little sadder, and she says, "Unfortunately, this will be the only time that I'll ever be able to do this.
Why?
So you're going to have to make the most out of it. I'm going to be able to return you to the moment directly after the dragon killed you. and you will have one more chance to defeat Eltor.
Can you not do that?
The world needs you. If I don't send you back, then Eltor and Christofferson and all the other horrible creatures that have been coming out.
Christofferson?
You don't know who Christofferson is?
You never told us.
Christofferson is an ancient evil that was unleashed upon this world thousands of years ago. And he's the one that's responsible for Eltor coming back into the world. He's the one that's responsible for...
Wait, he was here before?
Mm-hmm. A long time ago.
And now he's gone?
No, he's still here. He's the one that's bringing all these powerful evil creatures into the world across the planet. The very creatures that the Musketeers, the group that you're part of, has dedicated themselves to hunt down and stop. But Christofferson, he's at the center of all of it. If you do not go back and defeat Eltor, well, Eltor on its own will spread out from this place like a curse. You saw what it did to the castle, what it did to the land around the castle.
Do you
My
know,
beautiful land.
do you know if anybody died at the castle?
Many people died.
Do my parents? Our parents?
I'm sorry to say yes.
I'm sorry, Mimi.
Can you bring him
Galaxy.
back to life?
I can't, unfortunately. I'm sorry.
How can we defeat Eltor? He's so powerful.
I will be able to give you one more gift. One more tool to use when you go back. But it's still going to take everything that you have. And if you're not successful, I fear that Christofferson will unleash Eltor and the other horrors on the rest of the world, and then soon every place will be like this place. And more people's parents and their children, their aunts, their uncles, their families, they'll be killed as well, unless you can stop Eltor now. But that's only going to be the first part of your journey. That's going to be the first step. After Eltor, you need to stop the other evils, and you need to stop Christofferson. Otherwise, this will just start over again. And unfortunately, I won't be able to intervene as I'm doing now. So Mishakal, she turns her gaze on you, Dave. And she says, Dave, my sweet Dave, I've been so pleased with you and what you've been able to accomplish with your friends. You are all destined for great things, and the world needs you. It's why I gave you all protection from fear, as I knew this day would come. But when I return you...
Wait, that's why?
That's right, that was me. But when I return you back to the land of the living, you will no longer have that protection. But there is one more gift I will be able to give to you.
Why won't we have that Why won't we be scared? Why will we?
Oh, we'll lose our immunity to...
Mm-hmm. But she says there's one last gift that I have to give. And I know that you will wield it as well as you have all my other gifts. Remember, this time will be the last time I'll be able to intervene. And so I can't keep you here for much longer.
Otherwise, we'll die.
Otherwise, I won't be able to send you back.
Are you sure?
We thank you for everything you've done.
Yes. Yes, we do.
Good luck.
Are my parents in here?
So what's the final gift?
She gives you a smile, and she's like, "No, they're not here. They've moved on. They're at peace."
If I actually die, will I see them?
I believe you would.
Good.
Dave, there's a bright light that blinds all of you for a moment. And then you can start to see again, and time is frozen. Or at least slowed down tremendously. And you look around, you're back in the dungeon's lair. You see Eltor is there, and the last of his acid breath is just slowly, inch by inch, leaving his mouth.
Hobo hut!
And Dave, and you look around and you can move. You can move in real time. So it's like bullet time right now. Everything is super slowed down.
Yeah.
And you look at each other. You feel your bodies. You are whole again. There's no damage. You have all your things. But Dave, when you look down, your mace is glowing bright white. It's blinding with how bright the head of your mace is right now. And there's even if it's possible for light to make a sound, it is the most beautiful sound or humming that you've ever heard in your life.
Like a chorus of angels.
That's right. That's right. And in your hand, it feels the most right that it has ever felt before in your life.
That's awesome.
Can I have a shot?
And the last of the acid finally hits the ground, and you hear and smell the terrible sizzling of this acid breath on the ground. And you can see the muscles in Eltor's body start to tense up like it's about to take off or do something else. So the three of you, all three of you are each going to get an action right now, but I want you to roll initiative between the three of you, and we'll see who gets to go first out of the three of you. She pulls out the big dice.
You got an 8.
11.
No, you got an 8.
Plus 3.
She adds her initiative bonus to it.
13.
13, okay.
17.
17, all right. Dave, you get to go first.
I'm going to attack with my mace.
Okay, roll it up.
This is unlucky.
23.
That is definitely a hit.
Okay.
And you run up with your now glowing mace. And you run up and
You kill it.
jump up as high as your little legs could take you and slam the mace into the head of Eltor. And the light seems to shift from the mace and shoots inside of Eltor's giant scale black head.
And it goes
And
up his
you can see the light pass through and shoot out the other side through its eye socket, through its ear hole, out of its mouth, and you see that light shoot down into its body and course through.
He must be
And
dying.
that is when time speeds back up. And Eltor's head violently shoots away from your mace, and your mace is no longer glowing. All of the energy that was stored in there had gotten shot into Eltor's head. And you are all deafened by the terrible scream that comes out of Eltor's mouth as its head gets jerked back, whiplashed away from Dave, and its entire body shifts away from you and slides across the ground. And it's not dead, but it looks like he's blinded. He's screaming out in pain. His scales of where that white energy had been coursing through have started to fall off, and you can see the fleshy parts of his body starting to stick out, and there's pus and blood that's starting to come out of him. And blindly and in terror and in pain, Eltor lifts off of the ground and tries to fly away from you as best as it can. Now, Mimi, it's your turn.
You have to do the best spell that you can.
This is gonna get hot.
It's gonna get hot. What are you gonna do?
Woo!
Okay, so I'm gonna use Flaming Sphere level 3.
Level 3, okay.
Ew.
All right, so that would be, because you're using it at level 3, that would be, I believe, 3d6 points of damage then.
3 DC. He takes 12 points of damage.
12, okay, great.
So, if I got...
So you cast Flaming Sphere again, and you shoot it out to Eltor, who is now up in the air, desperately trying to get away from you. And the Flaming Sphere slams into his belly and causes more damage, and there's more black scales that falls out off of him, and he's still just roaring in pain and what he would do. But he's still flying as fast and as hard as he can, but he's still not that far away from you. But you can tell he's going to shoot like a missile to get out of his lair and get away from you. Galaxy, it's your turn now.
Wait, no, I'm not.
No, what are you going to do?
Lightning bolt! bolt.
Lightning bolt. Okay.
That's a good start.
Now, lightning bolt. Yeah, that's.
It's like fireball, only lightning, right?
Yep. 8d6. Roll 8d6.
Okay.
4 more in there.
Holy chalupas.
27. That's really good. Let's hope he fails his saving throw.
Well, it's when it comes to these ancient black dragons, they when it comes to saving throws, they get a certain amount of times that they can just make it.
Oh, sure.
Even if they fail the roll, they're like, nope, I make
Right.
it anyway.
Right.
Did you
That's
do that?
So you hold out your wand, and this huge bolt of lightning streaks out of it and strikes Eltor.
Goes in zigzags.
Yeah, it's like streaks across the air. Almost instantly, just like this lightning
Like
bolt
lightning
appears.
bolt in my picture.
Yep, connecting between your wand and the back of Eltor as he's quickly trying to escape. And it slams him back, and his backside hits the wall, but he's still moving. And Eltor swoops his wings 2-3 times, and you are all buffeted by air as it's trying to get away, and he flies very, very fast up the hole. All of you hear this very distinctive whistling noise. You hear this. And that's when you see dozens of small metal objects falling from the sky.
If I was a fairy, I would die.
And you can't see this, but if this was a movie, the camera view would show Eltor's battered and ruined and damaged face. And even though his eyes are gone, he's blind. His now empty eye sockets would go wide as it senses these things coming towards it. And all of these dozen or so miniature bombs drop out of the sky, and each one of them slams into Eltor's head, into his body. They rip through his wings, and the entire air is just filled with all of these little fireballs of explosion.
Did he kill
I
himself?
think that was from Mishakal. Her other gift was to give us a bunch of missiles.
Holy missiles from God dropped out from the sky.
Drop a god bomb.
It's a holy hand grenades. So, but no, and that's when another roar, but a mechanical roar of jet engines, and not Jed,
Not
jet,
jet engines.
jet.
I love jet engines.
And that's when you see that an Atlantean jet appears in the night sky above the dragon, and it angles down towards Eltor, and turret guns fold out from either side of it, and manned on the guns you see Sarge, and you see the other Atlantean soldiers that you
Nice.
ran into in the swamp, and
That
both
I brought back to life.
that you brought back to life, and both their guns open up in automatic laser fire.
It was their turn to save us.
Right.
And I
right.
just pull out my gun and like, I remember this thing! Yeah!
And the dragon Eltor's body just gets riddled with holes. Its wings
And you
get
see
torn apart, and his
see
body.
blood
You got
gushing
blood
down.
and guts, and this may be a little graphic.
Blood
Is like
from out of the sky.
bullets are coming down, laser bolts are coming down. There's chunks of meat and blood and other stuff that's coming down from this giant dragon. You guys are you dive for cover to get away from all of it, but you're just getting splattered left and right from this thing.
This feels good!
I ran over to a corner and puked.
That might not be a bad reaction to this.
No, I go like, oh. My mom's spirit is out.
So, but you run out the corner, you vomit because of all of the guts and grisly stuff that's coming down, but it does get you out of the way from getting covered by a lot of it. And that's when Eltor's body goes motionless
No, it
and
falls on
falls.
Dave.
It falls
No, it does not fall on Dave.
She's like, not again!
And it falls to the ground with a loud thump. And again, gold and treasure gets scattered everywhere. And Eltor's head
No.
slams down onto the ground, motionless. its tongue rolls out and lands on the ground in front of you. Eltor, the giant, ancient black dragon, is dead.
Then I just
Mishakal be praised!
Then I just cover the tongue, because I'm like, finally he's dead! This black dragon here is now dead forever.
And that's when the Atlantean jet goes into sort of a hover mode and then slowly descends down, and it lands on the rock floor and treasure as well. And the door on the back of it opens up. That's when you see Jed and Guy walk out of the back with the biggest smiles you've ever seen on their faces.
We did it without you! Yeah! I died! I saw. We
Jed
died.
comes out. He has his hands out. He's like, "My friends,
But we just say,
you
we died.
did it!
We died. We died, yeah.
You don't look dead to me."
It's a long story.
That was
Buy me a
all the way.
drink and I will tell you all about it.
Here you go!
No, and I pull out my whiskey.
Do you share it with anyone?
Heck no.
I'll tell you what, the drinks are on Eltor tonight.
So Guy's there, and he says, "So, while I was playing around with that blue holocube, while I was waiting for you guys by the boats, I figured out,
How to call?
yeah, it could send radio messages, and I was actually able to get a message to the Atlanteans on that radio that I had fixed for them.
Cool.
And I was able to, and then Jed showed up, and we were able to convince them to come and help.
But Jed, scaredy pants! Sorry. I'm still controlling.
And he looks down at his feet, and he's just like, I'm so sorry about
we're-
that."
You don't have to be sorry.
We're the now scaredy pants because
yeah.
we got our fear taken away.
Sarge comes out. He's got his unlit cigar. He's just chewing on it in his lips.
Yeah.
And he's like, "Yeah, we didn't want to come at first, but Jed made a pretty good case. So, can we give you guys a lift somewhere?"
Sure.
That'd be great.
So you join the Atlanteans on their ship, and they fly you back to Westmin. Takes a couple of hours to get back there.
And then I see my horsey.
But by the time that you get there, it's morning, it's sunlight, and your ponies are there. The ponies finally caught up to us.
Is it Tiny Ginger? Yeah.
Tiny
I
Ginger,
love that.
Bacon, and Amaretto
Nice.
is the name of
Nice.
your pony.
Of Dave's pony.
Tiny Ginger, oh, I miss you. Yes, I did.
I want to find an apple or a carrot to give to Amaretto.
And when you guys land and you come off, everyone that sees you is just in shock
We
and
saved
awe.
the world a little.
Well, they don't know about that. They just know that you guys arrived on an Atlantean flying ship.
We all died!
And then it just frowns come on like,
We killed the black dragon!
and then everyone goes, woo!
The crowd goes wild!
And you're okay. So, yep, they do. Your ponies are there.
They flip
and
out.
Jed and Guy are there, and on top of that, Doc and Ian are there as well. And it looks like a number of musketeers had shown up on griffins, and they're
And then
all,
you see the musculator.
no, they didn't bring a musculator with them. They didn't bring a musculator with
Wait,
them.
no, what about
But-
Pop and the other guy?
Snap, Gringle, and Pop. They're not there, but Betha is there. Blondie is there. And Ian and Doc. So
No, and Beth's holding a bunch of food.
and,
Yes! I haven't ate for 2 days.
and so they all greet you warmly, and they give hugs, they shake hands. They bring you up to speed about how they just arrived there too, and you tell them about what had happened, and
I just take back.
and they're very very sorry to hear that, but very happy that that didn't take.
Didn't stick, yeah.
Because I'm how still alive.
And Doc and Ian, they break off and they talk with the other Atlantean soldiers there. And they talk and start figuring out what's going to happen now. Where do they go from here?
We have to kill that guy who brought the black dragon.
Christofferson.
We have to kill him.
We have a new enemy.
Doc says, I think we should do what we can here and help the refugees out of Westmin, but now that the dragon is gone, a lot of them can go back home. And they can start to rebuild the capital of Xilo and
But
rebuild
not
the
me.
kingdom. But then I think after that, we need to get back to Olympus.
Oh my gosh, me and Birdie are actually queen now because our parents died.
No.
I am.
Dang it.
No, you were duchesses.
Yeah, you weren't princess.
You weren't princesses.
Dang it.
So yeah, you do not inherit the throne. So anyway, so Doc says, so we'll help out where we can here, but then I think we need to go back to Olympus and regroup and figure out what it is that we're going to do about Christofferson. Dungeons and Dragons and Daughters is a proud member of the Block Party Podcast Network. Check out other shows such as GM Showcase, Story Arc, We're So Bad at Adventuring, and more.